And we're live with my pimple. I'm like being 14. I changed my cream, so that's why. All right, for those of you that are joining, my name's Alexandra. I'm founder of Life with Herpes. Thanks for joining my pimple and I on this talk today. This is your opportunity to ask your questions when it comes to living with herpes, when it comes to being diagnosed, when it comes to dealing with outbreaks, when it comes to dealing with dating, and when it comes to dealing with how did I even get herpes. So if you are new to this, welcome. This is an awesome opportunity to ask questions. If you are not new to this, you know that I get asked probably hundreds of questions on this live. And so what I do is I do my best to go through each question one by one by one. You definitely have to keep your messages on a rated G. Otherwise, this app will kind of nix it or put it to the bottom. So definitely ask your questions when it comes to related to living with herpes, and I will go for it. Also, don't mind me. I just got back from skiing, so I look like I have been like wind blown. I actually have been wind blown because I was skiing. So, and I brought my zit with us to this live. So anyways, welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, this is your opportunity to ask your questions when it comes to living with herpes. I need to put some chapstick on my lips. They hurt. They're like wind blown. So what is going on, guys? What questions do you have when it comes to living with herpes, when it comes to being diagnosed, when it comes to dating? Something that's really, really astonishing and extremely frustrating. So even if we have this idea that people that have herpes are irresponsible, they're promiscuous, they are just maybe potentially living a deviant lifestyle. And unfortunately, even if we are very responsible, sexually active adults, and let's say we're getting tested, maybe we're pretty monogamous, that type of thing, we're not being tested for herpes. So when we go in to get tested for STDs, STIs, whatever you want to call, I know it's STIs like the new way, but STD just sounds better. Anyways, so it's not included in the typical STD panel. So again, even if we are being responsible and getting tested, it's not included. So we get our test results back and we're negative for whatever the test tested us for, which is most likely a bacterial infection. We're not being tested for herpes. So here we have no idea we have it. Most people that have herpes are asymptomatic. Most people that have it do not get outbreaks. Even if you don't get outbreaks, you're still able to transmit it. So it's very unfortunate and it's very misleading. So that's how a lot of people end up with herpes. And they're like, I didn't know I had this. And they truly didn't know. Okay, great question. Is eczema a form of herpes? No, eczema is not. I don't know that much about eczema, to be honest, but I do have a lot of people in our community that have eczema, and they've brought that up and they said, between my eczema or my herpes outbreaks, they say they're very different. I feel like eczema looks very different. It's more of like a raised dry rash from what I've seen on Google, where herpes is a blister, a cluster of blisters, or a paper cut like blister. So they're very, very different. Herpes is contagious. I do not believe eczema is contagious. Please don't quote me on that. I am not an expert in other skin diseases, just herpes. So that's what I know. I do think eczema can be controlled, though, also with diet. I'm not 100% sure, though. What type do you have? Fever blisters. So fever blisters are herpes. Cold sores are herpes. That is most commonly associated with oral herpes. Typically, oral herpes is associated with HSV1. However, HSV1 or 2 can be oral, and HSV1 or 2 can be genital. So I personally have HSV1 oral and HSV2 genital. So I have both types and I have them in different locations. Lucky me. But the good news is that I am able to share my experiences and I can say like, yes, I've had this. I get this. I know what we're talking about. Do you make your husband take anything to keep him from getting it? I do not. We don't use protection. He doesn't take anything. I take a lot of supplements. I take lysine and monolaurin and all sorts of things like that. I can show you guys if you want to know in a second. But I do not take them. Or he does not take anything and he has not contracted it. 16 new questions. Can you GKK? Can you get, I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a typo or that's like slang for something. I don't know what that means. Why don't they test for herpes? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, it's not life-threatening. It's not really a big deal. Most people already have it. So if you're not stressed out over it or don't know that it's affecting you, why tell you have it? Because the aftermath of knowing you have herpes is far bigger. It's a far bigger deal, a far bigger issue to know that you have herpes than it is to actually not know you have it. It is unfortunate because if everyone knew they had herpes, then we wouldn't have these stigmas. Like the stigma would be gone. But there you have it. What's the difference between STI or STD? They're the same thing. Sexual transmitted disease is kind of how it was called before. So sexual transmitted disease, and STI is sexual transmitted infection. The reason why they changed it to infection is because a lot of them are infections, not diseases. So like a lot of bacterial issues are infections, not diseases. So that's why it just sounds better, I guess. I don't know, whatever. It's kind of BS. I just think STD is STD. Nobody worries about STIs. They worry about STDs. Do you ever get people who get diagnosed with and seek therapy? I'm a therapist in California. I definitely recommend people do that when they have questions. So typically they will do a call with me. So I have what's called an emergency call, or they join our community, which is the Secret Society, which is a community just for people living with herpes. I definitely recommend that they seek out more support if they need it. So yes, I definitely forward that. I am not a therapist. I am just someone that lives with herpes and can speak from my experience. Did you often have outbreaks during delivery and still was able to deliver naturally? You said you're really discouraged. So when I was pregnant, so I went through IVF, in vitro fertilization. So during IVF, I did not get outbreaks. During my first try, I did not get outbreaks. During my second try, I got a couple. During my last try, I got a lot. And it was like more back to back. There's a lot of stress on your body in your last try, right? You have a bowling ball in your belly. You're growing a child, right? So I did not get outbreaks during my delivery. I was able to deliver a vaginal birth. I was able to do that. So I took the antiviral a couple weeks prior to delivery and was able to deliver a baby. So it is absolutely possible. There's millions and millions and millions of mommies that do that. So the girl who burned me lied about getting tested. She relied on symptoms to think she was clean. And so we have to work a lot on forgiveness, right? So whether our partner that gave us herpes, whether our partner knew or did not know that he or she had herpes, whether he or she knew, we have to forgive them. If that person knew and did not disclose that they have herpes, then it is extremely unfortunate. And we have to, again, forgive that person because that person was not capable of having that conversation. That person was not in a capable maturity point, ethical point. That person was probably in a flight. The parasympathetic nervous system was probably activated. That's our fight or flight. They were probably in a flight state. They were probably constantly living in a flight state and not attached or detached from reality, right? So we have to forgive that person that's what they were going through. It's BS. It's total BS. It's not right. But we have to forgive that person because for us holding on to that anger for that person that gave us herpes or whatever, the person that cut us off while we're driving, the person that whatever, we're emotionally mixing this like poison cocktail for them. I hate this person. And really what we're doing is we're mixing that poison cocktail for us. All that negative energy we're trying to direct at that person, we're directing at ourselves. So we're the ones that are suffering. So really practicing forgiveness is going to be the strongest thing that we can do to help us get over our diagnosis. I'm really sorry that happened to you, that the person you were with lied. And I mean, it's unfortunate. I thought that you spread HSV. I thought that to spread HSV, it had to be mucus to mucus membrane contact, like an open wound. So yes, Open wounds are easily transmitted. That's like pretty guaranteed. That's good to go, right? You give it wound to wound. But it is a skin-to-skin disease. So if you do have an active virus, like you have an active lesion or the virus is shedding, like the viral DNA is at the top of the skin, you are considered contagious and can transmit it. So you don't always have to have an active sore to transmit it. You can have what's called viral shedding. I was kind of describing that. The viral shedding is the virus sheds, the viral DNA pops up to the location of wherever you have it, and then you are contagious at that location. The host does not know that they are contagious. Typically, we don't know. There's no signs, symptoms, tingles, itches, anything like that. Is back pain a symptom? So it depends on the type of back pain. Nerve pain is a symptom. So a lot of times there could be nerve pain that can be like a sign that you're getting an outbreak, and that is a symptom. If anyone who wants a therapist to work, I'm here to help. Yeah, absolutely. Talk to Cesar. He's here to help. Can herpes form on the very edge of your inner lip? So like in here? It technically can. I would say if it's inside your mouth, it is most likely not herpes. However, it is 1000% possible that it can be herpes. That really didn't help clarify for you. Typically, the virus likes the outer edge of the lip right here. So if it's inside, it's typically what's called a canker sore, which is not herpes. If you have that, definitely go have a dentist or a dermatologist look at it, have it swabbed, and see if it is a canker sore or if it is a herpes outbreak. My boyfriend just found out he has it, and do we have to use condoms now? That's going to be completely up to you. It's not a fluid transmission, so it's not like bodily fluid to bodily fluid. It's skin to skin, so it depends on where your partner has it. Condoms work great at protecting bodily fluid type transmissions, but the condom doesn't cover the entire area, so it really depends on where your partner has it. Again, condoms are great. It doesn't cover all of it, so I would just have that conversation with your partner, and it's really going to be up to you what you want to do to prevent transmission. So you can use condoms. Your partner can take the antiviral. You can do everything you want to do to boost your own immune system. That's going to be kind of the best way. So, how does everyone have herpes? I know for a fact I don't have herpes, so I'm not sure what you mean. So most people are not getting tested for herpes. Most people have come in contact with it. So it's virtually impossible to never come in contact with someone that has herpes, whether you've kissed someone, whether you've been intimate with someone, whether a relative, someone like that that's in your life. So 2 out of 3 people have HSV, 1 out of 6 have HSV 2. So that comes out to roughly 80% of the population has herpes. So that's why I say practically everybody has herpes or have come in contact with it. If you know for a fact you don't have herpes, that's awesome. It doesn't mean you won't potentially get it in the future. Unfortunately, I don't mean to be bearer of bad news. It's so common that you can come across it from someone that you kiss or become romantic with. You also can pick it up at some point and have it lie dormant in your system and pop up years later. So yeah, that's great if you don't have it. And that's the idea, is obviously we don't want people catching it, but most of us are unaware that we have it, and so that's how it gets transmitted. Did you think the antivirals played a big part in being able to deliver naturally? So want to clarify, natural delivery is not using any sort of epidural. I had an epidural. I had a vaginal birth. I did not have a natural birth. I had a vaginal birth. But yes, I do think that the antivirals helped me deliver vaginally. Have you taken suppressive therapy? And if so, do you know severe outbreaks? I have in the past taken suppression therapy. I no longer take it. Yes, it definitely helps with outbreaks. I got to the point where I didn't want to take something every day. And I wanted to see, and I wanted my body to be able to heal itself. She laughed at me after giving it to me in retaliation. I told her father about it. That's awful. I'm really sorry she did that. That's not a good person to be around. what does my husband do, like for work, or what does my husband do to prevent transmission? As far as preventing transmission, there's nothing that he does special. He's a healthy person. There's nothing that he does special to prevent transmission. We don't use any sort of protection. Obviously, if I have an outbreak, we're not intimate, but you said your genital area looks different now ever since you have small bumps with no open lesions. They should go away. They shouldn't have stayed there. So definitely have your doctor look at that. If I never had an outbreak, is it likely I don't have it? If you've tested positive for herpes, then most likely you have it. Like if you've tested positive for the antibodies and you have it, you just are dormant. Guys, thank you for the hearts. I love seeing them. I appreciate them. Thanks for joining me on this. Like I said, if you have any questions or you have friends that have this, dealing with herpes, things like that, definitely follow. This is why I'm here. I go live as often as I can so that I can answer questions. What if they're just tiny white spots, like very tiny? I would say that if they're a tiny white spot, I would have them checked. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a dermatologist. Typically what you're looking for are sensitivity, nerve pain, fluid-like filled blisters, tingly, itchy type of sensation. Can I have it and have never had an outbreak? Yes, you can have it and have never had an outbreak. Can a herpes outbreak happen on the back of the lower back? Yes. Can it happen on the thigh? Yes. Thank you for the follows, guys. I see the follows. Can you show us your supplements? Absolutely. So these are what I take daily. I take Angiographis, I take monolaurin, and I take lysine. So these are the supplements I take daily. This one specifically is for herpes. It's lysine. It's a protein. It's an essential amino acid, which is a protein. And what it does is it helps block the replication of the herpes virus. So the herpes virus hates lysine. It's like a fire extinguisher to a fire. Arginine is actually what fuels the herpes virus. So this blocks the arginine from entering and causing replication in the herpes virus. So I take this daily. I also take monolaurin. Monolaurin was something that was pretty new to me in the last, 3 years. It is basically, it helps fight enveloped viruses. So we have enveloped viruses that have a shell around them. And when they have a shell, the herpes virus or our immune system cannot penetrate the virus, right? There's a shell. So this disrupts that outer shell so that our immune system can go on and do what it needs to do to help fight it. So I take this daily. This helps with other viruses, not just the herpes virus, but if there's another outbreak, when I say outbreak, another virus that's active in our body and causing us trauma, let's say, then this also can help fight it and allow our immune system to get back to keeping everything going. And then Angiographis is also extremely helpful when it comes to dealing with HSV and the HSV virus. So I take this daily as well. So I take all three. I do have them linked for you. You can use the promo code LWH. You get 10% off. Like I said, I take them daily. I use them daily. They're great. Can you get an outbreak on the back of the thigh? Yes, you can. So we have this conception that outbreaks only happen on the genital area, and it can happen anywhere in that boxer region. It can happen on your butt. It can happen on your thigh. It can happen on your hamstring. It can happen under your belly button, all sorts of things. I was one of the first people you found online when you're diagnosed. That makes me happy. I'm sorry that you're diagnosed. Did you find that outbreaks rebounded or increased when you stopped suppressive therapy? They did. My outbreaks came back with revenge when I stopped suppressive therapy, but I just was like continual hounding on my immune system and like making sure I was taking care of my body and things like that, and have gotten it to the point where I'm pretty much in control of it. Can you become pregnant while taking acyclovir daily? You can. Definitely talk to your doctor. I'm not a doctor, but they a lot of times recommend it. Again, talk to your doctor. I can't really recommend those things. I'm not a doctor. Anywhere in your skin. Have you had any outbreaks in the last 6 months? I have. When do the outbreaks stop? It's really up to you and your immune system and how strong your immune system is and how you are treating your body. What are some ways to lessen the symptoms? Definitely taking some supplements are helpful. Things like stress, lack of sleep. When I have like adrenaline going through my body, that really triggers it for me. And if I'm just not, if I'm traveling, not sleeping well, so those can all be triggers. I like to, if I feel something coming on, so I definitely take the lysine and monolaurin and angiographis. That helps. But if I feel something coming on, I personally like to take the Everyday Wellness Oil, not take, but put it directly on the area that I feel could potentially be getting an outbreak. There's lysine in this. There's tea tree oil, which is great for wound repair and antiviral and all that. There's chamomile. There's orange oil, lemon oil. So this is really good. I like to use this. You guys love this. This is your favorite. You guys like the Rescue Balm to apply directly to it. All these have ingredients that are formulated to help the herpes virus and are also formulated to help with pain and wound healing and things like that. So you guys like that. And then daily, I loved using the soap. Now the new soap we have is not this fun color, but this is also formulated. This feels good on your skin. I love it. My husband uses it. My son uses it. I can't keep it in stock. So those things all help with outbreaks. You are so well spoken, given you're not a doctor or a psychologist. Thank you. I appreciate that. Are those both safe while pregnant? The supplements, I would definitely talk to your doctor about supplements when you're pregnant. You basically can't do anything when you're pregnant. You can't have a turkey sandwich. You can't eat sushi. You can't have a tuna sandwich. You can't do anything. So I don't know. I would talk to your doctor. You can just order, though. They're not medications. They're supplements. You can order them directly from the company. It's Natural Cure Labs. I do have it linked for you, so you can order them. They're really affordable, too. A lot of times supplements are expensive. They're roughly $20 a bottle. Each one's a little different. Like one might be $18, one might be $22, but they're roughly on average $20 a bottle. Can you become pregnant while taking acyclovir daily? Yes, you can. Can you get it on your face? Yes, you can. You can get herpes on your face. Can you take those things along with the Valtrex they prescribe? Yes, these are supplements. The idea to supplement your diet or your lifestyle. How many outbreaks do I get daily? I don't have them daily. So HSV1, I've had 4 in 20 years. Not very common. HSV2, I definitely struggle with. I go in periods of like back to back to back and then nothing, and then back to back to back and then nothing. So I still struggle with that. Do you feel like the supplements I shared are comparable to medication for the outbreak? You can see me thinking. So the FDA has said that the antiviral is the Valtrex, valacyclovir, or valacyclovir, it lessens the transmission rate by 48%. It's proven. They've done studies on it. There are studies done on lysine and monolaurin and things of that nature. I can't say that because I'm not a doctor. I can't say that. I can say that they help. I can say that they're natural. I can say that there's probably not something going to be published about it, like a statement, because the big pharma wants us to take the pharmaceutical companies not go natural for obvious reasons. But they do help. They absolutely help. Is lysine over the counter? Yeah, lysine's over the counter, and yes, I take it daily. Oh, you found my YouTube channel. Yay, I love that. All right, guys, thank you for the follows. Thank you for the shares. Like I said, if you have friends, family that need to hear this, I really, really appreciate it. This is why I do this. I go live to support people. When I was first diagnosed, it was extremely humbling. It was suffocating. It was embarrassing. It was all those things. Do you think the antivirals played a big role in being able to deliver naturally? I do. You like my experience? Yes, thank you. What's the timeline with back to back? Like I would have an outbreak, it would go away, and the next day I'd get another one. So back to back. Can someone test negative if they have herpes? You can test negative, which is extremely annoying, But if you've tested positive and if you've had an outbreak, even if you've gone negative, like you still have herpes. You must just have increased the lysine in your body for some reason, or it's just the antivirals. What am I trying to say? You must have, a lot of times if you have a high lysine diet or a very clean diet, you can lessen the antiviral load or the viral load in your body. So sometimes you can test negative, but you still have the virus. All right, guys, thank you. I appreciate you joining me today. And with my pimple, right? Joining me and my pimple. I changed out my face cream, so that's why I got this. And like I said, I know I look exhausted. I just got off the ski slope, so I have like literally helmet hair. Anyways, I still wanted to go live. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate being live with you. I appreciate you. You guys rock my world, make my day. I do this so that I can support everybody living with herpes, and not to feel isolated and ostracized and just like you can't live life. And that's what the virus and the stigma wants you to do. What age did I contract it? I got HSV1 at 20 and HSV2 at 28. And I had a vaginal birth. Okay, bye guys. See you soon.